Good morning, guys. It's Dakota back with another stream today. And if this is your first time hopping on the stream, what we usually do on this call, I'll go over the pairs that I'm paying attention to for the week or for the month, whichever that may be. And after I get through with those, go ahead and go through pairs that are requested from you guys, right? Whether that's in the Discord channel or here on the live stream, and we just run through the market together. If there's an opportunity, we go ahead and take that opportunity together, and basically just prepare for what we're gonna take advantage of in the market for this week. But now, if there are no requested pairs, I just go ahead and select 5 pairs that I have on my list. The 5 pairs that we're paying attention to are GBPNZD, USDJPY, gold. 3 pairs, my fault. And then we have 2 extra, basically the 2 that I'm paying attention to, EURJPY and GBPUSD. All right, but let's go ahead and get into this. First thing I want to do is actually review what we were looking at last week, right? So last week I sent out a few charts. The 2 main ones that we're going to look at first are going to be GBPUSD and EURJPY. Let's go ahead and take this EURJPY here, or not Euro, but cable. All right, so I was looking for a possible sell entry here at the 50 Fibonacci level. I saw this break of the trend line, pretty impulsive break of the trend line, and then I saw slight corrective movement, right? I saw basically an opportunity to enter here. If my entry pattern came, my entry pattern did show up, so I took the trade, put my SL above the 61, and then set targets basically where I look to set targets at. Now, this trade actually hit our stop loss, right? So this is about the area. Let's go down to the 30-minute. This is the area that I entered at right here, and price just continued to scale up overnight, hit my SL while I was asleep, and came up to this daily level that we have here, formed basically a pattern, a reversal pattern here, got an impulse down, and I was looking for a corrective pattern here, which we got to scale up to this area, and then I'm looking to sell here. Yep, so this did happen. Well, at least my possible entry pattern here did happen, but we'll look further into that after we go over EJ. Actually, let's just go over it now so we don't like switch back and forth on topics. Alright, so price scaled up to this area that I was looking to enter at, and looking for actual sell here, but it's passed. So the next thing that we wait for is price to come back to the zone or even retest this pattern here. So yeah, looking for price to come back up a little bit higher, and then looking to sell that off. And I'll be looking to sell that off to this trend line, or at least this low here. But let's do a full markup on this. Like I said, I went ahead and reviewed the last few live streams that I did, and it wasn't what I wanted them to be, because like I started these live streams after it was a few months after I learned everything from my mentor. And I started for two reasons, mainly to get like repeatedly do the markups over and over again so I can embed them in my brain faster, and like teaching, and while doing that, teaching like also helps to learn it faster as well. But also it gives you guys an opportunity to like at least get someone to explain the knowledge that mentors are sharing, or at least my mentor shared for free. All right. So basically what I do here on the 3 most important time frames are the monthly, weekly, and daily. Basically what I do on the monthly is just box price in with horizontal lines. Right, and I like to make them black. You can see like I don't really have any fancy colors on my charts. I used to have purple and blue, but people, not purple and blue, but purple in a different color. It was purple and blue, I think. But people couldn't see it, so I just switched to black and white. But here we can see prices reacting within these two areas. And the reason these two are areas of interest, because last time price came to this area, it shot up 2,000 pips. Price came up to this area, it shot down 2,000 pips. Now price just left this area, and we're looking for price to come back up to the top here. So we're looking for price to scale up another 200 pips. From the point that it's at right now, we're looking for prices possibly scale up about 500 to 600 more pips. That's really the target that we have here in this situation. And we have a very strong uptrend here off the monthly time frame, which would be clearer on the weekly. So I'll wait to draw that there. Now on the weekly, again, like the question that we're asking ourselves, two basic questions we pretty much ask ourselves: what type of trend are we in? If we answer that question first, we're obviously in an uptrend, so that means we're in a buying market. That means start looking for buys. The weekly is telling you to look for buys. Okay, and on the weekly, you'd say we're looking for buys until this trend line's broken. Trend line's broken by impulsive movement, right? And what impulsive movement is, it's just very strong aggressive candles moving in one direction, right? Now, what that tells you is what direction the market wants to go. So if you have strong candles that are moving down, the market is telling you it wants to go down. It wants to go down and it wants to continue down. If you have strong aggressive candles moving up, the market's telling you it wants to go up and it wants to continue up, right? Now, following that, what we have is, we're waiting on is corrective movement. We're waiting on corrective candles that are consolidating, moving back and forth to tell us the next direction the market is most likely going to go. This information right here, this consolidation period, is what's going to tell us the direction the market wants to go. All right. So is most likely going to go, my fault. So the impulse tells us where the market wants to go, and this consolidation period, this correction, tells us the direction that the market most likely is going to go. All right. So we have correct movement moving in the opposite side of the impulse. Then we will look for a continuation of that original impulse. Okay, if it's opposite, we will look for it to go the opposite way. Okay, but here on the weekly time frame, or let's see if we can find a few examples of that, so you guys can see basically what I'm looking at in the market. So we know over to the right side we're in an uptrend. If we look over to the left, we can see this previous uptrend here, and if we just look pretty closely here, we see we have strong aggressive bullish candles right there. And let me zoom in so you can see. And then following that, we have corrective movement here, which pulled back in the opposite direction of the impulse, and then led to a continuation here. Then we got a strong aggressive candle moving in one direction. Then we got a correction, and we got an impulse here. Then after that, we got a correction. We got an impulse here. Okay. Now you can't count this on a small time frame. There is a correction here as well, but I just skipped it because it didn't break this high over here. But that's basically how the market moves. Pretty much, I didn't skip over any candles. I can put a name on each one of these candles. There's an impulse, a correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction. All right, and at the top here, reversal pattern. You can see it's a double top. So that's pretty much how I look at the market, just in those two phases. So that's what we're going to be paying attention to on the right here. So on the weekly time frame, we know we are in an uptrend, so we're looking for buys, at least at the moment, based off the weekly, until this trend line is broken off the weekly. Is there any other thing that we can place here that could box price in a little bit better? To my eyes, I don't see anything too significant to put, at least right now. I can see an area of interest once we get to a lower time frame, but we'll go ahead and wait on that. Now, once we get down to the daily time frame, we're asking ourselves the same questions we asked on the weekly time frame. What type of trend am I in? All right, what type of trend is the market in? And pretty clearly, it's still an uptrend. Now, I could take it from here and do an uptrend like this, or we could also do this, which makes it deeper slope. Honestly, don't like that so much. Yeah, let's fix this trend before I move on. Okay, I'm gonna go with the steeper trend for an earlier break, possibly. And basically here, still looking for, pretty much just looking for buys at this point, right? But in order for our next buy opportunity to come, at least for me, I need price to get closer to this trend line into a certain area to the left, which I'll talk about on the 4 hour. And if we're looking for price to correct to this trend line, we're gonna need to see a break of the trend line, see a correction, and then look for it to continue down there before we start looking for sales, or at least long-term sales there. Now, can we box price in any better here? We can see previously price reacted to this area. It's actually reacted to this area several times. Reacted to this area a lot. All the way over here, 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 and here. So it's an area of interest for us. Price is above that right now. So if price comes back down to this area, it'll be interesting to see how it reacts, because there's a possible buying opportunity. And if we buy off this zone, price could continue up to that original, we said about 500, 600, but if it comes down to this level, it'll be about 800 pip opportunity. And if price breaks below, we could see price potentially come to this low here, which is about 700 pips, or even all the way down to this demand zone down here, which is about 1300. All right, so those are just the opportunities, and figuring out overall what you're going to do or what your target's going to be is going to be dependent on how price reacts to how we're boxing it in. It's going to be dependent on how price reacts to our lines on the chart. So let's go ahead and go down to our 4 hours, since we've pretty much done everything here. Let's reset here. On the 4 hour time frame, it looks like we can set a line just above price. Let's see if there's an area here actually. Yeah, that's perfect. So previously price acted as a support here, price broke through, and now price is acting as a resistance. So what we're looking at is price acting within this floor and ceiling, for just to keep it in simple terms, and price is at the top here, so we could see a potential sell-off from this area, or we could even see price break through it and get up into this upper zone. But with how price is moving here, I'm leaning more to the side of a sell here, simply because it's so correct. It's corrective movement, right? It's corrective movement. It's not really a strong aggressive move moving up. It's very corrective, and it's very choppy, right? So the ideal thing that I would like to wait for is a break of this trend line, correction, and then a sell from this area. I'm going to set an alert here. It looks like, to me, the best time frame to wait for that correction, that sell opportunity, would be the 1 hour time frame. Okay. Now coming down to what we were paying attention to last week. Called this an uptrend, got a break of the trend line, and we have this correct movement here, and look for price to scale down lower to this area. Now in order for me to enter, I'm going to need a retest of the pattern. Right now, this isn't an ideal pattern for me. I'd like to see a lot more structure actually be built, but in order for me to enter, I need price to come back up to this line here, and I would enter off of that, and I would look to sell first down to this low, which is about 60 pips, and then second to the trend line about 80, and then a potential break here for about 200, almost 300 pips. Okay, but obviously pay attention to this area here. All right, so that's GU, and let me draw exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, I actually honestly rather see the break here, but I'll go ahead. I mean, there's no guarantee in any situation, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw multiple scenarios. Send this in the Discord channel. Now I do post all the charts that I put on here in the Discord channel, and the link to that is in the description. Now if I do forget anything, don't hesitate to reach out and say, hey Dakota, where's the chart for gold? All right, because I may forget about that. If y'all know me, I don't like gold. So I'm very forgetful with that pair. All right, so let's go ahead and review last week on EJ. Right here. Okay, EJ entered for the sell last week. We had an ascending channel here. Price broke that ascending channel pretty impulsively, pretty aggressively. We got this correcting movement here, Not too corrective, but it's a potential pattern. It's basically the third leg of a pattern, of a possible pattern, and within that we got a ascending channel. So I took the opportunity at the top of the ascending channel and at the 50 Fibonacci level, looking for price to first come down to this low and see how it reacts to it. If it continues past that low, I'm actually looking for my full 4 to 1 like I usually go for, and then a potential TP3 there. Right, so let's go ahead and look at it. Price is just chilling in that area right now. So let's do a full markup. So you guys pretty much know, since I pretty much broke down how I mark up charts in the last one, this one won't take as long unless anyone has questions over that. Okay. All right, EJ, again on the monthly, go ahead and box price in. And I'm gonna go ahead and box it in here too, but I'm also gonna place a trend line here. It's on a downtrend. Price is actually pushing up past the downtrend potentially. We don't have a real break yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and expand it here. Okay, so off the monthly we have a downtrend, but we can clearly see on a lower time frame there's an uptrend there. Pretty much have price box in off the monthly, so it went down to the next time frame. On the weekly time frame we have this uptrend right here, and price is actually in a key area, so a major decision is about to be made, which just means a major move is potentially coming right now. I'll wait to put that there. But basically you can see we're in a critical area based upon our trend lines, right? So price really only has two options here. In order for it to continue through, it's either gonna break up, give us a correction, and then continue up to there for about almost 1,000 pips. Okay, or price is going to break below, give us a correction, then continue down for about another 1,000 pips. So either way, we have a potential of around 1,000 pips if it breaks up or down to one of those levels that we have there, which price generally attracts itself to those levels. All right, so let's go down to our daily. Since we have price pretty much boxed in, there's not much that we can do right now. What's happened here, we had an impulse, we have a correction, and then we have this impulse. Price hasn't really, price is right here at this high here, okay, and on a lower time frame there's an ascending channel, so we could potentially just see it continue down. But let's go down to our daily. Let's fix up the trend line. All right. Okay, so now here on the daily, I am going to put this horizontal line here. I didn't put it there before because you can see the previous one. I usually don't put these lines there unless I can't see the top. Like, for example, let's just call this a ceiling. Let's call this a floor. If I can see the ceiling and I can see the floor, I'm not going to draw anything new. But if I can see the floor but I can't see the ceiling, and I zoom out about 3 or 4 times, and I had to do this in order to see it, then I go ahead and draw this one on that time frame. Okay, and the reason I'm claiming this area is because last time price came here, it dropped from this point. It should be about 1,000 pips. Yep, dropped over 1,000 pips. We see price reacted to this area before, right above it. And any other areas here, yep, came back down, shot up 1,000 pips over there as well. All right, there's a lot of A lot of big moves happening from that area, so it's a high area of interest. Now let's go down to, actually let's stay here for a second. Now here off the daily, got this ascending channel, price broke out of the ascending channel, and we see this correction here, which is basically what I entered off of. Now price could retrace up a little bit higher, which I'm anticipating, I'm prepared for it. If price comes up higher, I have another entry area that I'm waiting on. But overall, at least for how price is set up right now, this is not a continuation pattern for me, so I'm not going to be I'm not going to be looking for the buy until price breaks this trend line in that supply zone. So I'm looking for price to break down, correct again, and give me another opportunity and move to the downside. And the next actual area or potential area for the target would be right here. Yeah. And from here to here is about 500 pips. If you just set, no, most people in the chat aren't setting higher than 50 pip stop losses. That's a healthy move. So it's about a 10-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Alright, but those are my two pairs. Let's go ahead and review GBPNZD, or the other three pairs that I went ahead and posted. And again, like I said, I do want these to be a little bit more drawn out, because I just want to make sure that I'm giving as much value as possible to you guys. I don't want to be, ultimately don't want to be half-assing the markups, right? Because I was flying by pretty quickly on the last two calls, which wasn't really providing you guys with the information that I intended to provide you with, essentially. All right, dollar yen, this is after the move happened. Let's go to the first markup I sent for that. It's not the first one, but it's an updated version. Okay, so after we got that sale that we talked about, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, it's a pretty nice sale. It's actually a pretty easy sale as well. Everything pretty much played out perfectly, and you got a second opportunity off this breakout opportunity. Now, looking for price to come down to the zone. Price just barely wicked it, if it even got there. I won't claim a at least my confirmation entry off this pair, but it came close enough to the area, and price gave us a W and then pushed up. Let's go ahead and look at it. I'm actually looking for a pretty strong buy on this pair as well. I talked about there's a really nice opportunity with UJ, and I would still say that, like, it's still stuck in consolidation, but if you catch this at the right spot, ideally of course at the bottom, right? But if you catch this, I'm looking for a pretty relatively large move, potentially up to this high overall, right? And even if you don't get that to this high, would be sufficient. I'm looking for a really strong move with UJ pretty soon. Let's go ahead and delete that. But yeah, price is within this flag pattern. It's at the top of the pattern. Now in this area, I wouldn't say necessarily enter or look for an entry. You can look for an entry after the break possibly. I generally don't take those entries, but I know a lot of people do. If that's your style, you can go ahead and take that. Something that I would like to see, which to my eyes right now is unlikely, if price comes back down to this zone and gives me another opportunity, I would love that. Other than that, I wouldn't enter off this pattern, at least anymore. My entry was down here. The next possible entry that I would wait for is a break of that trend line, correction, and then push up. But yeah, this was a really nice buying opportunity. I still see a really nice buy with UJ. Okay, and let's just do a quick full markup with this. Let's just delete everything and then go to the monthly. Okay, here there's not much on the monthly to do. We have this demand zone down there, but other than that, nothing of interest here. You got this downtrend that you can draw, which will look nicer on the lower time frame. Let's go down to weekly. Yeah, I want to adjust that. I want this one instead of that one because it's just going to be two trend lines right on top of each other. I really don't want that. So we got that downtrend. We can go ahead and put boxing price right here at the top of that descending channel here. It's basically a weekly descending channel. We got an impulse here and then correct move moving down. Price is just correctly moving down, and we'll just keep it as an uptrend. Price breaks above, we'll look for buys. As price is in here, since it's on a larger time frame, we're we're gonna continue to look for sales. Man, gonna continue to look for sales. Potentially, at least from this weekly time frame. Okay, let's tighten that stop loss, not the stop loss, but the trend line. Alright, what type of trend are we in? Right now, price is in an uptrend. Let's go to the 4 hour. Alright. Okay. So price is here, and if you wanted to zoom in closer, since we got on the 4 hour, you can go ahead and put that uptrend there as well, and you can wait for a break of one of those, look for a correction, and then look to sell or buy off of that. Now the sell wouldn't be too ideal because you have an area of resistance here, right here, so that would only be, that wouldn't even be a 30 pip move because like the not resistance but support, but the trend line is just so close, it's not even really worth it. Unless you have a really small stop loss. But yeah, here I'm ideally looking for a push through above here, then looking for a continuation up to this point, which gives you, I'm assuming, about 50 pip area there, and then I'm looking for that trend line to actually be broken and then look for it to continue up. That's ideally what I would look for. And let's go ahead and box it in a little bit better here. We'll take this area for now. All right. So that's the market for UJ. This is ideally what I'm looking for, and then watch price in that area. All right, give me 1 second. All right. Okay. So this is UJ. Let me make sure I send that screenshot out. I forgot to send EJ out as well. See, I told y'all. I forget. You gotta remind me. Actually, we already have the markups sent out for EJ. At least the entry. Yeah, we already have this sent out. Okay, let's go to GBPNZD. Which GBPNZD looking for a sell. Looks like we kind of got a portion of that sell already. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the I'm gonna bring the markup up from the Discord channel. Again, like all the screenshots are in the Discord channel. All right, let's find this. Right here, edit, copy. All right, got both setups. Look for possible bearish pattern. Basically, what our initial setup, initially what we were waiting for a break either this trend line or that trend line. We got a break of the uptrend of the downtrend, which gave us a buying opportunity. We pretty much got a perfect setup, or literally got a perfect setup right here. Price broke out and broke out above that high, giving you actually plenty of that was a really good move. I believe it pushed up about 90, almost 100 pips there. Okay, then we got this sell off here, which was basically just off of critical zone, and strong impulse here. I was looking for a flat pattern actually for him here, potentially. You can see I basically drew it out. It looks like a flag actually formed here. I was really just looking for a bearish pattern, right? But obviously in that situation, I'll prefer a flat pattern. But we got a bearish flag. Let's go ahead. That truck is live. All right, but let's go ahead and draw it out here. So we got a triangle. And price is broken out already off the 4 hour. Now, ideally, if I was to enter, like GN's not on my list, so I'm not going to enter. But if I was to enter, I would look for a retest and look to sell. Look for my first target right here in this area. And then my next target would be actually down here, honestly. So that first target's about 100 pips. Second target's about 400 pips. So decent moves there. And obviously, if at any time price breaks a trend line, go ahead and switch your bias. But until then, continue looking for sales. Now, off the 1 hour, you're going to get a lot more opportunities, of course. You see we got an opportunity here to enter for a sell. You got an opportunity here to actually enter for a buy. And you have a flat pattern there to enter for a sales there as well. Yeah, so plenty of opportunities. Let's do a quick full markup. I won't be as detailed with this one, but I promise full markups, so I'm giving full markups. Monthly time frame. Monthly, we have a downtrend here. I'm gonna start it from this level instead of the highest point, and we're gonna go ahead and put the demand zone right there. Okay, and a supply zone right there. Go down to our weekly time frame. The weekly time frame, we can see we're at a critical area. All the way down here, pretty much what we had: impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. Here's our correction. Price could potentially sell off, or price could potentially push up. Right? That's from again, that's just the basis of everything that we do, or everything that I do when marking up. We have another supply zone there. We have a nice little uptrend there off the daily, which will go down to the daily and find. Off the daily time frame, this was a beautiful uptrend. We got a break of that uptrend. We got a correction there, and we're looking for price to continue down further. I'm gonna push this up a little bit more just to give it a little bit more space. Go down to our 4-hour time frame. Again, at any time you have any questions, if I'm moving too fast, just go ahead and let me know. Also in the comment sections, if I'm able to explain it in a reply, I'll go ahead and do that. So if you have a question at any time, just go ahead, just comment. All right, so here we've got that impulse, we've got this correction, and we're looking for price to continue down. Now after this push, we have a downtrend there, and then we'll look for another correction after this point. All right, so this is why GN is my favorite pair. GN is my favorite pair. The moves are so seamless, at least to my eyes. All right. Okay, on lower time frames, there'll be more opportunities. If we just stick to the 4-hour time frame, after we get this impulse, we know there's a possible buying opportunity with the correction that is likely to come, highly likely to come afterwards. So off a lower time frame, 30-minute, 15-minute, which most of you guys trade anyways, there's buying opportunities throughout that correction, right? You just have to be able to pick it out, right? And it's going to be really, really easy to get that down, or to be able to take advantage of those opportunities by just practicing, figuring out your patterns, back testing a lot, and just getting used to the market, right? Getting the eye for the market, training your eyes. So this is GU. Let me just draw the things I just deleted one more time and then post this. If I said GU, I meant GN. You knew what I meant. Okay, finally, gold. Gold I only look at once a week for you guys. And actually, since I have got a request in a long time, all right. So it looks like I deleted my markup on gold. Oops, I'm hitting the wrong button. Gold, I believe we're looking for a buy in a kill zone at a trend line. Price kind of broke through that trend line, but then it got back up into that trend, so it just overshot, basically gave us a fake out. But we're gonna work our way down and actually look at it. So here off the weekly time frame, we have this downtrend here. We had a downtrend here. Price did a breakout, or a fake out. I'm talking about breakout. Okay, price did a fake out with that long wick off the weekly time frame. We'll keep it right there, and we'll just consider the candles inside a fake out. And if price continues up, go ahead and take advantage of that. Now price is below this trend line. We have an impulse down. We have this possible correction, and price could potentially push down further here. Right, if we look at the previous trend, you can see we have this uptrend here, and pretty much just like GN, just like we looked at, got a fake out here, and then price broke back inside. So impulse down, possible bearish pattern here. It's not a strong bearish pattern just yet. I personally wouldn't take that trade, at least yet. It's not ready. But yeah, looking for price to scale down to this level here. So looking for sales at the moment. But the big picture, we're looking for a buy, right? Big picture. Again, if we go back to the weekly, forgot to point this out. We have this large impulse here, and all of this is just a correction coming down to a key level, and then we're looking for price to push back up to this area. Basically just back up to this high here and see how it reacts. Let's go to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour time frame, what type of pattern or what type of trend? There's no significant trend here. It's literally just this pattern. And that looks way better. I like this 4 hour pattern way better than that daily pattern. Okay, so here we had an opportunity to enter for a sell here. If price comes back up, this is a very key area to look for a sell, but also be aware, obviously price can always break out and continue up. But in this area, at least right now, look for a sell. All right, this would be first target. Then price goes lower, you can say that's second target, that's third target, and then look to buy. Definitely look to buy in this area, especially if some corrective movement like this comes, a descending channel comes. It's a key signal to enter for a buy. Okay, and let's talk about pips. From here to here is about 300, almost 400 pips. Price comes lower to this area, it's about 700. Price comes all the way down to here, that's about 1,000. All right, and yeah, that's pretty much it for gold. Let's go ahead and put this here so you guys can see it. Boom. And the price always has the opportunity to do that. I actually really like this setup. This is a trade I would take on gold if it was on my list. All right, so those are the pairs. What's up, E? So on this call, like I said, I did want to provide a lot more value with the markups. I wanted to do full markups instead of just saying, oh, this is what I'm looking for on this pair, which is basically providing you with, in a sense, well, it's just useless information because you're not confident in it, because you don't understand why it's happening, and you're not really learning anything from it. So this style or this method that I use for this live stream is going to take longer, but honestly, it's well worth it. Okay. Now, and one thing I do want to go over before we actually end the stream is a little bit of mindset, or at least the type of mind frame that you have to have for trading. I really believe this is really vital, and I think a lot of successful traders agree with me as far as thinking in a sample size, thinking over a series of trades, right? And a lot of people already know about this, but it's basically just thinking in probabilities. But if you don't really have this down and have it strictly as a part of your system, it's honestly going to make things a little bit harder for you, right? Okay, and essentially what it is, if you've watched Mark Douglas almost always talks about in every single one of his videos about sample sizes. What are sample sizes? How to use sample sizes and how they can benefit you. Okay, so I've made it a key part of my trading plan to trade in sample sizes. I trade in sample sizes of 25. What it basically is just saying, okay, I'm gonna take these next 25 trades. Every single time my setup comes, my impulse correction kills on all my confirmations meet, and I take that opportunity. I'm gonna take the opportunity basically, right? And after 25 times of taking that opportunity, I will then go ahead and review my trades. I will then go ahead and say, okay, should I change anything here? Can I edit my stop loss so it's more beneficial, so I have a higher risk reward ratio? Can I go for a little bit more target because price is generally going past my take profit? All right, after I take those 25 trades, that's when I consider making any type of changes. No matter how bad the losing streak is, no matter what comes, I'm just following my system, following the plan without making any changes in the middle of those 25 trades. Okay, so let's say for instance you have a sample size of 25. Actually, let's make this simple. Let's go down to 10. Say you have a sample size of 10 trades. A lot of people take 10 trades in a week, so let's say within a week you're limiting yourself to 10 trades. On each of those 10 trades, you're gonna risk 1%. Every single trade you place, the next 10 trades you place, you're gonna be risking 1% on each trade. Okay. Now, what that means is, if you lose every single trade, if you lose all 10 trades, that means you would lose 10%. You can see right here. If you have 0 wins and 10 losses, you would lose $2,000 with a $20,000 account. You lose 10% of that account, right? Now, if you had a risk reward ratio of 2, right? You have a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. That means you're going for 2 times what you're risking on each one of those trades. And the bare minimum amount of trades that you would have to win in order to be profitable after those 10 trades is 4, right? So you need a 40% win rate. Now, if you don't understand why that's valuable information right there, let me say it in different words basically, right? So if you can expect out of yourself, if you know that you have a 40% win rate, you know, okay, after every 10 trades, I generally win 4 and I generally lose 6. You can expect to say, okay, this week I'm probably going to lose 6 trades. All right? Or you could say, oh, I have a 30% win rate. Oh, this week I'm probably going to lose 7 trades. Okay, if I'm going to lose 7 trades, of course, after the next 10 trades I place, I want to be profitable. What can I change to make sure that I'm profitable? All right, because if you know that you have a 30% win rate, which a lot of people won't have a 30% win rate, you'll probably be in the 40 range, or at least high 30s. If you're losing 7 trades, but you're losing money, you know, okay, you'll probably win 3, but you'll lose 7, and you're losing money. There's things that you can adjust in order to make sure that you're profitable, because that's ultimately what we want to do. So a thing that you could do is increase your risk reward ratio. All right, let's say instead of a 2-to-1, you start going for a 4-to-1. You start waiting for opportunities that allow you 4-to-1s. Okay, so with your 30% win rate, but now being more selective and going for 4-to-1 opportunities, all you need to win is now if you, with the same win rate, let's say you lose 7 but you only win 3, you're gaining 1,000 instead of losing 200, simply by making one shift in your plan. But you're not going to know that you need to make that shift unless you're journaling and tracking your trades over a series of trades, like having intervals where you review and say, okay, what happened during this time and what can I change to make it better going into the next 10 or the next 25 or the next 20, whichever your sample size wants to be, right? Okay, so this sheet is public. Like I have it in my Discord channel, and I'll go ahead and post it in the description on this video as well. Like, anyone can look at this, anyone can edit it. I believe like there is a problem. Like, if two people come on this at the same time, if two people come on this at the same time, they're gonna be trying to like change the numbers at the same time. But you can go ahead and make a copy of it. It's pretty easy to make a copy. You just right click down here, you say copy to, new spreadsheet, and it'll make a new one for you in your own Google Docs or Google Sheets. But yeah, you can change every single one of these variables, but everything else is not changeable. I made sure it's locked so you can't change it. Again, my sample size is 25, and if you go ahead and go to pretty much any Bob Proctor seminar, not Bob Proctor, my fault, Mark Douglas seminar, there's a lot on YouTube. He pretty much talks about this in every single one. It's just dealing with probabilities and then adjusting so that you can be on the right side of the probability. But I hope this helps. Really appreciate you guys hopping on, and I'll catch you all next week.